Good evening, everyone. Suffolk Cram.
Skazz, yes.
Welcome to episode 264 of the Rand Nerds podcast.
264?
Yes, and people, viewers of the podcast, will have a very large Skazz head on their screen at the moment because he's very close to the camera and it's very large. It's like Holly from Red Dwarf. It's really good. No, don't go too far. I want to hear your sexy voice.
I haven't got one, and you know it.
This
is far away as I can
I've
get, mate.
phoned those phone lines up and I've heard you.
He's stroking my ego. I have a face for radio, but the voice does it.
Face for radio and a voice for mime. How are we on this, guys?
I'm alive, Ram.
Good.
It's amazing. I've done nothing. That's a lie. It's great. I'm dreaming about a new setup, but that might come another time. I say new setup.
Yeah.
It's not. I'm going to cobble some old business bits together, but we'll see.
We'll
How
see.
are you? What have you been doing?
Well,
have you still been playing Hardspace?
I have, and I've also turned middle-aged this week. I've not in spirit. I've become middle-aged this week.
Wait, in spirit? You've
Yes.
not actually turned middle-aged, you're just in spirit.
I suppose I'm technically already am middle-aged because I'm 39 this year, which if I plan to live to sort of 80-ish, I'm sort of technically middle-aged.
You granddad.
No, the reason I turned middle-aged this week is this week I went by choice to a garden centre to buy some plants. And I think that's the sort of point you've hit that stage in your life.
Are you sick, Ram?
No,
Is there something going on?
I decided to do the garden up. So I've been pressure washing. I've got paint to do as well. You've seen the beer garden I've made.
That's what it was. It's the beer garden. You've just decided, you know what? Today I'm going to man. I'm going to do a man thing.
Well, the beer
I'm
garden.
Drink a beer.
The beer garden was a man thing, so I had to go to a timber merchant to buy the stuff for the beer garden. So I felt very enjoying. There were all the sort of other workmen doing like the big manly work, buying fence panels and all that stuff, and I go and buy 3 bits of trellis. And
yeah, but it's for a beer garden.
Yeah, but it's a good beer garden.
The other guys are like, mate, I just fancy a beer. Ram's like, no, mate, I'm going to do this the proper way. Yeah. I'm going to have a place to have my beer, not just on my couch or next to my computer.
Yeah. Skazz
can't call me an alcoholic when I've got a beer garden.
Skazz has seen a photo of my beer garden.
It's very nice.
It is, thank you. It took and it took me a day to make that.
A damn sight less time than it would have took me to build it. I've just gone, yep, got the materials, got my beer, that'll do.
Involved a tape measure and everything.
Tape measure?
Yeah.
I can't be doing that, mate. I mean,
maths got involved at some points.
Oh, numbers?
Yes. Metrication. All got involved.
No. Did you get your crayon out so you could mark things and that as well?
I'm sure what I want to say, any carpenter listening is going to go, I used a pen instead of a pencil that you're meant to use. And the same thing is, I own an actual carpenter's pencil. I do own a proper pencil as used by carpenters.
As used by?
Yeah, they're different. They're like flattened on 2
sides. Yeah, and soft. Yeah. No, I've got a bunch.
Yeah. So, but no, I just chose to use a ballpoint pen.
Why?
Because I had one to hand and it was nearby.
So you didn't fancy actually putting your carpenter's pencil to use? You just thought, fuck it, you can just sit there and just...
That would involve finding it. And the pen was there.
It's kind of like one of them like coffee things, like you buy 5, get a carpenter's pencil free.
Yeah. I have also gone advanced on the coffee. I have recently bought a French press for my coffee, or cafetiere if you prefer.
Well, it's French, so no.
So I've been...
Why?
Because I thought I fancy having fancy coffee. So I've now bought a French press and I'm now buying packs of fancy coffee.
Define fancy.
Well, I mean, I'm buying them from Asda, so there's a certain limits here. Let's be honest here, and they are an own brand, mate. I mean, they are like they're £4 for a packet.
Of?
That does about 3 loads.
Mate, what is that? That's like 15 minutes on Pornhub. What you on about?
It's 15 minutes, mate. Seriously, cool. Taking your time. It does.
I'll make the most of it, mate.
My cafetiere is a 12-cup cafetiere, which is effectively 2.5 mugs of coffee. So so basically 1 pack makes 7.5 mugs of coffee.
All right. So what makes it fancy other than you have to put it in a weird French thing?
Because you have a plungy thing on the top you have to push down.
So the only reason it's fancy is because it's French.
If anything's fancy is that it involves a certain degree of minor manual labour. Look, it looks fancy. When I sit there, like sat next to me, it looks a bit more fancy.
I mean, what does it do? I mean, the
Make
coffee.
coffee.
What? Yeah, but why? How?
In my head, I have got to that stage where I've managed to, through placebo effect, convince myself that coffee from it tastes better than coffee
right,
from
yeah.
thing. So I've placebo effect myself into that. So therefore, it's fancier.
So he goes and gets himself some Nescafe and just pours it in. So I can't be asked for this today.
No, I have a Tassimo for my daily coffee intake.
Someone goes to give him an instant and he just goes, peasant shit.
No, the instant is what we have at work. And to be fair, having usually used a Tassimo and this instant is crap. To be fair, I've never tasted good instant coffee, but it's handy when it's good fine for when you're at work.
I mean, at the end of the day, if it's got caffeine in it, I'm good.
Yeah,
like it does the job.
Yeah, well, that's good. Good. Well, moving on to games.
Fucking weirdo.
Okay, next time you come round, you won't get the fancy coffee.
Letting the fucking French in like vampires.
I won't.
Turns out French press made in Detroit.
No, my one is a I think actual French brand. I think it's Bodum.
Even worse.
It's like one of the sort of brand to get though.
Cost
me 30 quid. I mean, I could have bought like 10 indie games for that price.
When did you get rich?
I got a better job. That's the main thing. That's the main change in life. I got an actual decent paying job that pays a bonus. Hence why I could afford
no, that's it. There you go.
Hence why I could afford to do the garden up.
Yeah, I never actually questioned that, if I had to be honest with you. I was like, that sounds fair. Garden, yeah, money. That doesn't factor in. French press, what?
How many bought that wood? How much was it? We wood? About 200 quid.
French press, £30. What? Get out.
and a bag of coffee is 4 quid.
But you're putting in a French press, you're ruining it.
Well, no, because the only option is a filter machine. I don't want one of those.
Yeah, but they're not French.
Look, I'm going to have you round at some point, and I'm going to make you some coffee in my French press.
I don't know. I'll probably catch fire because it'll be coming out of a French press. But
look, the French do have to do that. Look, no one, as a red-blooded British man, I don't really like the French for no good reason other than the fact that I'm English.
It's true.
That's the only sort of reason rationale behind it.
What more do you need?
Some good things have come out of France.
Hang on, and they speak curly. They speak curly, but not in a nice way.
Such as the French press and baguettes.
What's them the curly one?
Croissants?
The moon one. That one. That's all right.
Yeah.
If you're bored.
I can't eat croissants anymore.
Why? What have you done? What did they do to you?
No, this
the French equivalent of a throwing star. Ram got a croissant to the back of their head.
This is all my grandmother's fault. And
she force feed you croissants, mate.
Basically, yes. When I was young, she'd like to always try and please everybody with things, but the trouble is, it did backfire occasionally. And when I was young, one time I expressed a liking for croissants because I had a croissant. It was very nice. I liked the croissants. She interpreted that as every meal possible, this child wants a croissant. And basically, when I came home from school about 3 weeks on end, all I got was croissants. And to be honest, at that point, I was sick of them. And I have not touched them since. It completely put me off croissants. I can't even think about.
Now we know why Ram hates the French.
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of non-French things, Hardspace Shipbreaker.
In it. Right. I didn't get to. So Ram bought it for me during last podcast, and I've only had a chance to dabble in it. like do the tutorial in that, because I managed to cripple myself playing it.
Did you try and do 0G stuff in real life and discover that
I do that.
gravity was a real thing?
I do that every day, and you can't prove it. You can't prove to me that gravity is real. Like you can't prove to me that we're on a
I can prove gravity is real.
on a sphere.
I can prove it.
No, you can't.
It's okay.
Next, you'll say to me that we're
I
not
can
flying
prove
through
it
space on a disc.
very easily. We'll go to you upstairs to your house. We'll open a window and I'll push you out. That'll prove gravity's real.
No, mate, that's a government conspiracy. That's like a machine underneath the isn't it?
Yeah.
Human
Well,
magnet,
at least
innit?
you managed to experience a world without gravity.
So, you know. But mate, it's, right. So here's the groove. Right, I haven't had a chance to properly play it. I did a bit of the tutorial. The reason I'm bringing this up, my control pad was bust. Now my control pad wasn't bust, so I crippled myself by playing it on mouse and keyboard, and so I don't have a desk, right? So I'm kind of like sat here with one arm like kind of crooked around, like I've just kind of like, I don't know, thrown myself out of a bedroom window to test gravity, and my mouse was like somewhere over here, and I was just kind of like a pretzel, so I'd kind of broke myself. That was really uncomfortable because my control pad, you'd kind of every now and then it would respond, and other times it wouldn't. So you'd go, I'm going to go left. I'm going to go right. I'm going to go left. No, he's not going to go left anymore. He's just going to kind of drift, like how because it's physics based. It just kind of continues on. You've got like a bit of you got momentum there. I was like, okay, weird. For some reason, is there like some kind of thing? And then where it does the use the kind of like thrusters to kind of rotate yourself to kind of recenter yourself.
Yeah.
So you kind of like turn on a point or kind of rotate on a point. That didn't work like at all. No matter what I did, it didn't work. So I ended up doing the tutorial on mouse and keyboard, which means I did throw myself into an incinerator very early on when I did get my control pad to work, because I hadn't done the tutorial on a control pad, so I had no idea how to use the windy thing. So I got stuck and just kind of went, and then that was funny. But it's not that the control pad is bust. I've looked on Steam. Loads of people have had this issue. They're saying it's a bug with the game. I think it's Steam input.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you go to your game settings, right, and you pick your game, and you've got that weird little cog, ain't you, the gear?
Yeah.
Right. Is that the one you go to the gear, or you got like a control menu? I think it's under properties and then controller. Right, hit the override for the game, and there's a drop down, and then like hit enable Steam input, and it will blanket every option on there for Steam input. So it'll go your Xbox pad, Steam input, PlayStation pad, use Steam input, Switch pad, use Steam input, generic controller, use Steam input. As soon as you do that, your controller will function properly.
Oh.
So even though the game recognizes your pad and it'll say, press this button, do this, do that. And if it doesn't work, or it's kind of somewhat unresponsive, like it'll work sometimes and other times not, do that, go to the gear, go to properties, go to controller, and then enable Steam input across all the things. Your control pad will work and it plays great. I also found, I feel, when you're in the groove, very relaxing.
Yes,
not much of a game to stream. However, I did
later
initially
on when you get bigger
myself,
ships, you have to be a little planning on bigger ships.
well, like even on the early ship, I found myself kind of like, because I obviously didn't do the tutorial on the pad. I did it on the mouse and keyboard, and ended up on the pad because it's more comfortable. Because I've got crippled old man wrists. Too much wanking. What can I say? That's too many of them French press cup pot things.
Yeah.
Whatever. Because I didn't know how to do any of the buttons. I found myself stressing out, thinking I'm going to run out of time. I'm going to run out of time. I'm going to run out of time. But as you kind of get into that flow, it is very chill.
It is a very chill game, and the truth of the matter is, the timer doesn't really matter. The timer is only there because you get charged every day that you are playing the game. That's the only downside to running out of time. Other than that, if it takes you 10 days to do a ship, it doesn't matter. Apart from it will charge more. And as long as you basically do more salvage than you spend a day, you'll be all right.
As long as I don't keep throwing myself into the into the burning
Incinerators.
majig. But it's all good. But yeah, fun game. Thank you for that one, Rem. But if anyone tries to play on pad and they find it doesn't function properly, that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
Just do your thing.
It's sure enough very satisfying when you sort of like gradually sort of like, for lack of a better word, peel a ship away and like peel the outside panels off and gradually put them away, and it is very satisfying.
Dude, I just enjoyed drifting around space.
Yeah.
Like just the idea that I had that freedom and motion.
I tell you what, this game, I think Hardspace should be a perfect game for VR.
Yeah.
That is just because you are just floating around and stuff. It could be fine done from a sitting position.
It's one of the ones that's one of the things I actually really enjoyed about Elite Dangerous, just floating around in space.
Yeah.
Like not even having to do anything, just being able to just kind of drift around on a point.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I wonder if they do a VR mod of it, or if they would do a VR version.
Might be. The thing about Hardspace Shipbreaker, before I was more information about it, it was done like as a side project by the devs while they're working on other things.
Oh, sure.
So it's not got quite. That's what there's likely to be no sequel to it. Not that I think it needs a sequel, to be honest.
No, of course.
And there's going to be no unlikely to be any extra content for anything like that. It's just done very much as a little side project.
Yeah. Well, then, guys, if you get the idea, like here you go, VR, put in a VR mode. That'd be great if you can.
That'd be really good. I also would love to be a multiplayer version. But
that'd be great.
Well,
that as well.
People talking about it, and apparently the devs did speak about it. They tried it. The trouble they had was synchronizing the objects between each player's instance.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, true.
And they basically found it very difficult, and it didn't really work properly.
Yeah.
So they basically sort of dropped it again and again. It was done like a little passion project.
Sure.
But it shows because it's such a neat, sort of simple game, and as you get to the bigger ships, the more interesting ships, where you sort of have to work your way how to dismantle them. Because I imagine you've probably not done many days. So I think you played for 90 minutes. Not looking at Steam.
Yeah, not a huge amount. So most of that was actually tutorial and then trying to get my control pad to work.
Yeah, so you've probably done a few days.
Yeah.
I also love the way that the story advances by how you level up. As you're leveling up, that makes the story advance. Which I think is a really neat way of doing things, because it means they know exactly where you are through the game skill-wise, and they can sort of make the story flow.
Yeah.
It's quite neat. And, once you get to know the characters, like Weaver's a cool guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do wish, though, that for some reason, every game developer, when they want to make a game that's sort of vaguely about sort of like big industrial work, for some reason they always go down the route of Texas American oil workers.
Yeah, no, I know.
Every single time that you do. But then I suppose I thought, what would be the equivalent over here? Some brummy British person.
Yeah.
Right, Hardspace Shipbreaker's time to get on to the job today.
No, mate, or some geezer from Glasgow.
Yeah. And he just shows you little cuts around there to sort of separate the ship off. And whatever happens, when I try, I always drift into a different accent, no matter how hard I try.
Bless.
So are you home to sort of give it more go at it?
Oh yeah, I'm going to. It's probably going to be one of my portable out and about games, as random as that sounds. Or if I just want kind of a nice chill session, just
yeah.
I did take a crack at streaming it because I had control issues. I was like, nah, can't be doing that. So I barely took a couple of pounds off the side of a ship. But it was very fun. I like the atmosphere. I like the controls. When I know when I can get them to work.
They're quite intuitive.
Yeah, and it was just fun, just being able to kind of blast around in that, because that's another issue I had when I was initially playing on pad. I couldn't actually move very quickly either. It was almost like I was kind of like doing half inputs.
To be fair, when you're like starting level, you do move very slowly, but you can upgrade, and it only takes a couple of upgrades to actually move at a lot more reasonable speed.
Oh no, but I mean, like even like during the on mouse and keyboard, I was actually able to move and weave and all that kind of stuff. When I first got my pad to go, it was almost like as if I was kind of like forward pad letting go, forward pad letting go.
Right.
I was moving, but I wasn't moving full speed. It wasn't even stuttery because obviously there's momentum there. But it was just. Oh, it was just so. But once I figured out what the problem was, that was
you can use the windy tool to pull yourself around as well.
Yeah, well, again, because I don't have
be careful that though, because if you do it for too long, you will get very, very fast, and you will not stop.
Fantastic. I'm gonna have to try that. Slingshot myself into space.
I did do that accidentally once. I was getting a warning about low oxygen, so I sort of spun myself around to like where your little like habitat is, where you have to because if you've got a stage where you have a little computer where you have to buy the like oxygen packs and stuff. Okay.
No, not yet.
So you're also on the stage where basically there's probably no time. There's probably the timer's not come on yet. You're basically at the stage. There's no sort of time limit. There's no oxygen for us to full health or anything like that at all. No. Later on, they'll switch those on. You'll have to worry about your O2, your thrust to fill, and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And there's like a little vending machine right near your hab that you can buy refills at. And I was getting very low on oxygen, so I quickly sort of spun myself around. Thought I need to get there really quickly. Fired the grapple, wheeled myself in, went a bit too far, went sailing past the hab out into space.
Good job, man.
So I sort of spun myself around. I was like, "Oh no!" But because I'd gone so fast, I sort of like was drifting too quick. I couldn't quickly aim at anything to like reattach to, and it's like, "Oh, bye, cruel world. Bye, cruel universe."
Whee! Off he goes.
Oh, I'm glad you're enjoying it. Well, I hope to see more of it.
Yeah, man. Like I said, that's probably going to be my kind of like on the go. I'll be on an on the go game. Just Steam Deck verified. So I'll take a crack at.
Yeah.
I'll take a crack at it.
It's a surprisingly long game, and I'm now there's 3 acts. I'm now through most. I'm now into Act 3, and because the game basically you think it's ending, you think you've got to the end of it, but it doesn't really end. It's like a second ending, which is quite neat. And I'm
kind of like what Monster Hunter does. You get a credits roll and then you keep going.
Yeah, you basically get like what seems to be like an ending cutscene where like they explain what happens to all the characters, and then they sort of like carry on. And there's another objective you have to do to like properly end the game to get roll the proper credits, which I'm sort of now at that stage. But I'm 40 odd hours in now.
But that's mate.
Good.
Let's be fair. That's fantastic. If you want just a nice, chilled out game that's going to last you a while, and there's just enough to kind of keep you going outside of. The tasks it gives you. That's pretty cool. And for the money they pay for it.
It's very much like the Euro Truck Simulator realm of sort of like just chilling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very much in the I mean, I've been listening to podcasts while I've been doing it. So I've been literally putting a podcast, I've been listening to a podcast, which I can imagine my character doing in real life, having like a string of podcasts to his helmet as he's going around cutting things up and stuff. So I've been doing that a lot when I've been playing, which has been quite sort of nice or chill way to, because you can sort of, you do have to think about what you're doing, but you don't have to think too much about what you're doing, so you can sort of semi-switch off.
Yeah.
And just gradually sort of like, there's apart from the old moment where like, oh, I've got to remove this reactor, I've got to do it in a certain way. So I've got to the reactor switch, you have to shut down in a certain way. You can't just whip them out like the first stage reactors you do. It's a lot more chill game. So, very, very great fun. Love it. I do really love it, and it says in multiplayer mode. Although there is a cutters race, I think, which is like a multiplayer where like you and your friends can basically have like you both get the same ship, and then you're like,
and you both have to try and get through it. Yeah,
you race each other. But I feel that might sort of like ruin the chill factor of it.
Yeah, sure. When things start to get overly competitive, then you get like, ah. I'd rather not risk ruining the chill factor for it.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I'm level 22 now, I think, out of 30.
There you go.
But after about
Let me know when you get to 30.
Well, the thing is, once you get above sort of like level 20, that's where all the unlocks stop.
All right.
So nothing else. You just get your level goes up, but you don't get anything for doing it. There's no like unlocking upgrades, because I presume you've not got to the stage yet where you can upgrade your tools yet, I'd imagine.
I can't remember, to be fair, man.
No, I don't think so. I think that comes a little bit later on. You get to the stage you can upgrade your tools. The highest, some of them are locked away by levels, and the highest level I think is one is level 20. I think it's like the highest, or it might be level 19. It's like the highest level you can stop in you unlocking things. So once you get past level 19, the game is effectively over. In terms of that sort of thing, you're just sort of getting up. But I'm sort of kind of determined to get to level 30, just because.
There's reasons, why not? I mean, you're chilled out and you're enjoying it, and there's still more to do, so why not?
Exactly. No, very chill game. Cool, I'm glad you enjoy it. I think we're going to there's something you wanted to discuss, wasn't there?
Just briefly, this is more of a game, or more the idea of design choice modernized, or a modernized take on a classic game style, and how it can really throw you off if you have muscle memory in the old style and the way things work. You know, a little knowledge is dangerous kind of thing.
Yes.
So I recently started playing Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening on the Game Boy, because I just had this random craving to go back and play a Zelda game from my childhood. I really liked the early Zelda games, not so much the newer ones. Anything after like Ocarina of Time, I'm like, nah, put that in the bin, kind of thing. Just no. Some of them are all right, but just no. My heart lies with Link to the Past, Link's Awakening, Ocarina of Time, pretty much everything after that, shovelware. So I pick up the Game Boy game, not the Game Boy Color game, but the Game Boy game, and I got really lost at the start. Very simple, kind of top-down action RPG style thing, or action adventure game. You got your sword, you got your shield, you run around, you boss things, you find dungeons, complete puzzles, sorted kind of thing. The point of the game isn't that big of a deal. It's one of those old school games where levels or it's tile based. So like your screen is an entire thing, and it doesn't scroll. And when you get to the edge of a screen, it will then go, okay, freeze, scroll to the next screen. You walk into that screen, and then you're on like that next tile.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense. So if
Yeah.
I say it's you go from screen to screen, the screen is a stage, so it might have like a house on it or a shop, and then you walk to the side, and it will go, now it's time to scroll, move on to the next block, and your map is basically separated into screens, blocks, chunks, whatever you want to call them. I'd completely stuffed myself. A little bit of knowledge went a long way to screw me over, because I was like, I can't do that because I haven't got XYZ item yet. Turns out I was thinking of completely the wrong thing and was just walking around in circles for over an hour. It was hilarious. But then I took a crack at a fan remake called Link's Awakening DX HD. Now, Link's Awakening DX is the Game Boy Color version of the director's cut of Link's Awakening. And Nintendo took this down because it's Nintendo. But it's a 16:9 PC native Link's Awakening. New menus, all sorts. It's absolutely phenomenal. All the sprites from the Zelda Game Boy Color game, 1080p, 60 FPS, all that kind of stuff. Interface tweaks. Just, it's really nice, right? Nothing overly fancy. It's just a big Game Boy game. It's really nice. But this one scrolls. It really threw me. So, like, instead of just seeing the let's pretend it's 4:3, the square screen, it's many screens all stitched together, and it all scrolls. You can just see them all. Everything that would fit on your screen is just it's there. So you can, instead of just seeing this house, you can see the house and the neighboring plot and the shop that's above it and the next zone underneath it. Because, you know, like biomes change in old games as you cross screens.
Yeah.
As you cross like little zones, like very quickly you'll go from lush forest to desert or whatever. You just go one screen, and that's pretty much as far as it goes.
Yeah.
Like, there's a
Forest
hard
world,
border.
desert world, lava world,
Yeah.
water world, snow world.
Like you can hard see that line kind of thing. They've done a very, very good job of stitching all these screens together and stuff. It looks really nice. And I was trying to explain this stuff as I'm playing, but it was really, I couldn't believe how gorgeous the game looked, felt, and played. How well it was functioned by adding in scrolling. I didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal. A bunch of people had told me there's a new Link's Awakening. Nintendo did one, and it has scrolling. It's amazing. The world just feels so very different. And I was like, rubbish, right? It can't be that big of a deal. Oh my God, it fried my brain. Absolutely fried my brain. Because the other problem I had was, because the interface is all moved about, like instead of it being a very focused square, I wasn't paying attention to my health. I died very early on and many times because I just couldn't pay attention to my health. I was getting hit completely randomly because I was too focused on things that weren't on my sarcastic air quotes screen where they should be, kind of thing. I was like, oh, that guy would be like a screen and a half away. Oh, what's that? And I'm looking at this thing over here, and getting hit. The enemies will still only interact with you within the screen of influence that they were designed for originally. So if you see, like, let's say you can see 3 screens worth, and you're on the middle screen, the guy on the leftmost screen won't come after you because he's only programmed to patrol that square, that segment.
Yeah.
And same with the person on the right hand side, kind of screen, as it were, the right hand third. They won't come out of their grid point. But because you can see it, you're almost kind of mentally and visually overloaded by it.
Yes.
You're focusing on it as if it's going to be a problem, even if you know full well their pathing doesn't allow them to come out. And so I was then getting caught out by that as well, getting killed because I was too busy focusing on flashing things further away. So it's shown me how beautiful a classic game can look with a few tweaks, with a few user interface tweaks, and has got me into looking into other recompilations, decompilations. I can't think of the term right now, but when like there's a group of guys like taking N64 games and rebuilding them on PC and stuff, the way that these things just look absolutely phenomenal with a few tweaks and a few, like a little bit of paint, right? And you wonder why Nintendo, Sony, and that don't do this more often. They don't have to do a lot, just like maybe make it 16:9, add in scroll, and it really makes a game pop, feel different, and just so good. But by the same token, makes you appreciate user interface design.
Yeah.
Because again, as I say, stretching from a single screen to give me an extra screen and an extra screen and a little bit on the top and a little bit on the bottom really overloads you with information. That clean interface was just so good.
Yeah.
Because you were hyper focused on that area. It just completely threw me off. But Link's Awakening DX, folks who have played Link's Awakening, go and have a look. It's really, really cool. Even if you're just looking at kind of photos and stuff of it, it looks really cool. To look at the Game Boy game and then look at this remake, phenomenal. And the interfaces have changed. The way that you can now use, instead of having only 2 items, because an item was assigned to a button on the Game Boy and you only had 2 buttons on the Game Boy, you can now use 4. Your face buttons on a regular control pad. Stuff like that. It's just amazing. Check it out. It's amazing what a few little bits of polish, a few tweaks will do to a classic game, but also how much it will throw you off if you've played that classic game.
Yeah. So is it like, I like the levels and stuff, the screens? Is this like a 1-to-1 copy of the original, or is it like?
Yeah.
So it's not like they've not done a Final Fantasy VII Rebirth where they've like expanded.
No.
They've literally just made it. They've basically just upgraded the graphics to 3D.
No. They've just taken the tiles of the original Link's Awakening.
Right.
The fan remake is just the tiles. So if a screen is a tile, they've taken those, stitched them together. So instead of going to the edge of a tile to scroll to the next tile, to make it kind of go, dum, load, now you can move. Now it just scrolls along infinitely.
Oh, so this is so I was looking at. I've been looking up because we're quickly looking up on the interwebs. So this isn't the like Switch remake thing you're referring to.
No. So Nintendo did one.
Yes.
This is a fan remake that Nintendo took down and then released their own.
Right,
I've not had a chance to play the Nintendo one, even though I have it.
Still in 2D.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
So look up Link's Awakening DX HD, and that should show you the pictures. Because it's an HD re-envisioning of the original Game Boy.
It's a good job we come across that, because I would have linked to completely the wrong one on the show notes. Oh yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah. So instead of like, you can actually see where the tiles have been kind of stitched together, and then you kind of, as I say, instead of getting to the edge of a tile, and then it going. Stop, load in next tile, have you then walk in, kind of thing. It just scrolls. It's just a continuous movement.
Yeah.
It feels really weird, but it looks amazing if you've played the classic. But it also gives you a bit of an information overload because there's just so much to process.
Yeah. Almost as if those game designs had a reason for them being done a certain way.
Exactly. it kind of makes you appreciate.
But I like the fact though they've not messed with it too much. They've just sort of like done quality of life improvements. really,
Yeah,
rather than
it's
stuff
really
and stuff
nice.
that was not possible. They've not completely like messed with it. They've just sort of basically up-resed everything and kept the gameplay mostly, apart from like you change your items and stuff, and
Yeah.
made it look prettier. So that's nice. I like it when those sort of things. That's to me is what a not quite a remake, I suppose, but like a
It's a
upgrade,
remaster.
remaster. Yeah, that's a better term. Yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah, that sort of makes you appreciate them a lot more when you see stuff that. So that's all why I like. Oh, fantastic. So is it a So you can now buy this from Nintendo themselves, presumably. Or
No. So the project that I'm talking about got shut down by Nintendo and purged from the internet. But as you know, the internet doesn't forget.
no?
So
Right.
you can get this one from places, DXHD, or you can play Nintendo's version, which is Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening on Switch. I don't think it's got another name.
Yeah, which is the
That looks
3D
great too.
version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It that also looks pretty good. Apparently, the soundtrack's really good. I own it. I've just not had a chance to play it yet.
It'd be
So I'll
interesting.
probably do that one
It'd be
next.
interesting to play and compare it to the HD remake and see
Yeah.
how much they've. Again, have they just remastered it into 3D, or have they like redone the whole thing and expanded it at all?
I wonder if that's also if it's going to be easier as well to process the like if they maybe they kind of tilt the camera as you walk a bit because as I say, having those multiple screens all tied together in the fan remake it really throws you off. So I'm curious
Yeah.
how they're going to handle that information overload with the Nintendo remake because obviously if Nintendo have done it, I highly doubt the monster pathing is going to be bothered about grids like tiles
No.
because there
What's
won't be
gonna
any
go?
grid
Ha!
tiles.
Fuck you! Am I sticking to a grid?
And then it'll chase you down and do you in. I think that I'm quite looking forward to play it. I have to find it. I've got it. I just don't know where I've put it. So when I get a chance to play it, I'll give it a go.
Oh,
Um,
marvelous!
but yeah, good stuff.
Cool. Oh, and then I think finally we're coming on to a game we've both been playing, which you can see on Twitch. And there will be some videos coming. I'm just working through the backlog because Ram was very ill at the beginning part of the year, which has really pushed him back behind on everything. But he's gradually catching up. You'll be able to enjoy eventually at some point on the channel Heroes of Hammerwatch, which is
Which
it's a game.
I've never said it's a great game.
No, you
Never
absolutely
said.
hate it. Every fall I say, come on, Skazz, you're gonna play Heroes of Hammerwatch again. It's like, do I have to? I fucking hate that game. It's like, come on, Skazz, we do it. We paid money for this. We need to play it again. I believe I believe there was another game called Hero of Hammerwatch, which I believe is single player only, and this was in the multiplayer version. I believe I've not so I've double checked, but I vaguely seen that. So, but it's a top down 2D roguelike dungeon crawler.
2D pixel like sprite based. Yeah, like
Yeah.
roguelite. Roguelite. Just in case everyone knows this by now, you'd say everyone, but there's going to be someone out there who doesn't know. A rogue is a game where when you die, your run's over a sofa.
Yeah.
A rogue lite is a game where if you die, you still get to keep some progression. So
Yeah.
in the
The
case of
run's
Heroes of
over, but your
Hammerwatch,
upgrade stays.
yeah, your upgrades stay, but your upgrades are based on items that you pick up in the dungeon that you send back to the village at the bottom of the tower. So Heroes of Hammerwatch takes place in a tower. You start at the base of the tower. The idea is to get to the top of the tower. I imagine we've never done it.
Yeah, there's 6 like so each sort of like area is split into 3 floors and then a boss, and there are a total of 6 of those areas. So that's what 24 levels effectively, and we've only really got to like level 10.
Yeah. Are they procedurally generated, or is it just kind of scraping them from?
Far from where they're all procedurally generated.
That's neat.
Apart from the boss levels, which are the same.
Yeah.
But every level is procedurally generated, so we've
is
got as
pretty
far
cool.
so we've got as far as the armory, which is where we keep currently dying. But if base level's like a dungeon where you'll have like little creepy crawlies and sort of very light enemies and fairly straightforward to kill. There's some nasty things. There's some like poison
Which
ones and stuff.
that can be. Let's be fair. It can be quite tricky right at the start. 'Cause I mean,
Yeah.
when you don't know what an enemy does, and you're very squishy at the start, Like
Yeah.
just a single mistake can be enough to ruin a run.
Yeah. Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
but just a note. So you go in. You know, there's nothing super challenging about it, but the idea being that as you go up the floors, the enemies get harder. To make yourself better, stronger, you have the option of leveling up. So the more enemies you kill, the more experience you get, you level up. You can pick up items in the dungeon, which will give you temporary stat boosts. You can't
which you
transfer those over
lose.
to, you
Yeah.
can't transfer those between runs, but you can pick up money and ore.
Yeah.
And on some floors, not all floors, there's like a mine cart or a
Lift thing.
yeah, like a lift thing. And if you find it, you can, for a percentage of your money, send the stuff back down to the village.
Yeah.
And that's the stuff you keep when you die.
So for whatever reason, the villagers who want you to go into this dungeon and sort of fight the monsters still feel the need to tax you.
A lot.
Yes, like 50% of your earnings, and it gets higher every level up you go. So it starts off like 50% and it's like 55 every time you do it. I don't know if it's based on which level you're on or based on how often you do it. I expect it's how often you do it.
I think it's total earnings. Yeah. After you hit a certain point, they charge you
because I was wondering if they do it like they take more off you depending on how often you use that lift. So then it covers you to not use a lift. Go, actually, I'll hang on a bit longer and sort of thing. We die so much that we always use the lift in general.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, I was cocky last night. So after the stream, it turns out a couple of my lot got a hold of it, had got a hold of the game.
Oh, cool.
And I figured I'd show them the ropes because they were like, look, we don't get it. We don't get the game. I was like, okay, just give me a sec and I'll come in and I'll kind of show you. And I was kind of cocky. I didn't drop off the ore down the mine there, down the lift. And we get to this bit and I forget, after picking up one of my mates, you're soul linked. So if you're playing multiplayer, you die, you pick someone up, you can go and resurrect them, and that'll give them half health. And then if you or they die whilst you're soul linked, you both die.
Yeah, unless you can find a graveyard to sort of like pray, and you can separate your souls again.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We died again, and I lost my stuff, and I was only 5 ore, but 5 ore in that game is quite a lot.
Yeah, 5 ore. Early upgrades are like 5 ore. So ore is used to upgrade your town, village town, which I assume is Hammerwatch, is the purple Hammerwatch. Gold is used to buy goods, and you also get stars. I'm not too sure how you get the stars. I think it's from defeating bosses, but
no stars are level ups. Stars are level ups.
Right, okay, that's how you get them.
You get a handful of stars per level up.
Okay, because I've been trying to work out where you get the stars from. That makes sense. And you can use those to upgrade your abilities on your character and stuff. But everything's locked off. So like your guild is locked off. Like so until you upgrade the town to like level 2, you can't have a level 2 guild, which then unlocks level 2 abilities. So it's this constant churn. But you need ore to unlock the bits and pieces of the money. And
it works as you upgrade the town. That's one charge. Then you have to upgrade each individual service in the village.
Yep.
So you could end up with a level 5 village, but still only have like a level 1 guild.
Yes.
Why, I don't know, but you could do that. And if you've only got a level 1 guild, they'll only teach you level 1 skills.
Yes.
So it can get pretty pricey or wise pretty quickly. And as Ram said, you use money for goods and services. So you can go into a shop and you can buy bits and bobs, keys and all that. Pray at certain places.
There's a fountain as well. Yeah.
You can also pay for like potion upgrades, weapon upgrades, armor upgrades. And is that it? Yeah.
The fountain's quite a cool mechanic. We unlocked yesterday. So the fountain, you'll go up to it and you'll have a list of positive effects and a list of negative effects. They'll have different values, like +1 to and -1 to plus whatever and then minus whatever. And there's like a little pair of scales. If you choose positive effects and then a set of negative effects that are the same value, the scales will sit balanced. And that means you can then accept that and there's no charge then to have those effects applied to your run. And so you then go on to the mission and so forth. So for example, we tried yesterday where we wanted to disable towers because one of the bosses has like these towers that shoot arrows at you, and we wondered. Well, I wondered if those towers were the towers it was referring to. Turns out they weren't, which is a little bit annoying. So we disabled towers, but then we wanted to. We could either pay because that was a -2 effect. So we could either pay like 450 gold to like override the effect and have the effect because it's unbalanced, or we could set a negative effect for -2, not to pay any gold at all. So we did the confusing potions, I think, effect. The idea was every time.
Oh my god.
Well, it said you're confused 2.5 seconds. I thought 2.5 seconds, that ain't bad. That's not too long. Turns out 2.5 seconds is an eternity in this game.
Yep.
So
when you're up against a boss and you're like skinnier teeth, you're like, oh god, because you need to when you need to use that potion, you really need to slam that potion. You're panicking. You're at that state.
Yeah.
You use that potion, and then for 2.5 seconds, you have to reverse your brain because confusion means standard game convention. When you're confused or your controls are reversed, you could end up finding yourself running into the enemy that did that massive damage on you to begin with, and then you find, oh shit, the potion I've just used is gone. I have to use another one.
Yeah.
Which is another 2.5 seconds of you either running, like standing there like a div, trying to remember to push the button in the opposite direction, or again, soaking more damage.
Yes. The other sort of like, I think interesting mechanic as well is there's like, once you've completed like a section while you complete the boss, so the 3 floors of the section and the boss, next time you go into that first area, there'll be like a obelisk.
Yeah.
Obelisk, I think, which or portal type thing that you can, which is usually fairly near the entrance of the level. And if you go up to it and go into it, you'll go to like another mini arena. It's not like a boss arena, but there'll be like a cube which you have to destroy. But the whole time that's going on, they'll be spawning enemies from the next level up. Yeah. And so you have to fight them off and shoot them and kill them and destroy the cube. If you do that, however, you'll bypass that whole section. So if you did it on floor 1, like area 1, floor 1, you'll go straight to floor 2, like level 1, as it were.
The exact area after the boss.
And then so basically it allows you to sort of like speed through and not drag through, which is a nice mechanic. However, there also the downside to that. It means you won't be getting any gold, you won't be getting any ore on those levels. However, it does mean you're not spending so much time working your way through.
However, there is a nice bonus to doing that, other than skipping the floors. So you're like, oh, you skip the floors, you're not getting any money, you're not getting any ore. But if you win, they do drop like there's a ring around the cube that you have to destroy, and each square will be a different item. It will give you like 5 or 10 items. I don't know exactly how many it is, but there's plenty of items there. 8, so you get 8 items, and it's quite a buff. You can get quite a buff from picking those up. So
you just don't get any money. Yeah, so it gives you some bonus to the next level, which is stuff you could potentially have picked up as you go through the levels. I also like the fact that there'll be, after each level, each floor is randomly assigned. There'll be a sort of a gimmick to each floor. So the first floor is no real gimmicks. Second floor, there'll be like prison cells that you need to find a button to unlock, which for some reason Skazz can see these, but I can't see them. I don't know. I occasionally have pressed ones. I don't know what I pressed, but it's worked. Skazz seems to always be able to spot them. I just can't. I must be my colour blindness. But I'll unlock the prison cells. You then go grab all the stuff from the prison cells, which is quite neat. Does mean you have to sort of hunt through his levels. But you'll occasionally find like shopkeepers as well through the floors who will sell you items. I think it's like 1 per area. And traps. Yeah, traps. The next thing. Yeah, we didn't get a lot of traps last night.
No, we didn't. Should note, traps are cool. The button that you're looking for in that second zone, by the way, is the same one that we used to deactivate traps.
Yeah, I know.
Traps
I know
can
what
be
it looks
deactivated
for.
in the game.
Yes.
Well, it's just for people who haven't played. The button you're looking for is the same kind of button you use to deactivate traps, and it can be hidden behind like the moss or vines on the walls.
Yeah.
Very faintly there. But yeah, it's neat. You can actually get through a trap room, like spikes or whatever.
Yeah.
Get to the end of it, and then there's a button next to the end point of the trap. You can hit the button, the whole thing will deactivate, and all your mates can come rushing in, because if you open a chest in there's an item there for every member of your group.
Yes.
Should also mention that the dungeon seems to scale the more people you have in there. I don't think it scales per level, but it seems to scale per.
The boss's health definitely scale as well, because when you had some connection issues last night and you disconnected mid boss battle. That boss who had like nearly 5,000 health instantly went down to 2,000.
Oh, there you go.
So it instantly dropped down like it took like not like 3,000 health off him, which was unhandy because I don't think you can. We tried, but I don't think you can join game if you want a dungeon. But you can
Yeah,
join
once
the
they're already
towns.
in, I don't think you can. Yeah, I think you have to join when they're at the base of the tower. I don't know if enemies' damage goes up or not, but that seems that the health definitely does.
I would have thought they
So-
would.
Hmm.
I would have thought it would, but again, I'm not too sure. But no, it's yeah, but no, fun game. So the
That's
traps,
phenomenal.
yeah. It's possible, but character we've played. Well, I've played I'm playing the ranger class. So
Oh yeah, so you get multiple classes. There is a bit of DLC. I think some of the characters are
yes,
DLC unlockables. I don't know about if you can unlock characters just by traveling up the tower or whatever. You're
I don't
ranger,
think so. You're ranger, you're paladin, I think.
yes, and both Divine and Inky the Obvious have picked the mage.
All right.
Which is neat because that's a ranged class as well. But you fire arrows straight. You fire faster when you're standing still than when you're moving.
Which I only found out last night.
But you can't obviously you can't shoot round corners. Mages have ranged attacks like the ranger or the archer, but their attacks can also bounce around corners.
That's cool.
And me, the paladin, I just swing a sword.
It's a tank. But you get like
The bonus for me is I have a shield, so there are certain traps that don't hurt me as long as I'm facing them because the attacks bounce off my shield.
That's neat. I didn't know it was like angle dependent. That's quite cool. That's cool. Yeah, the yeah.
Sorry.
So you can also have basically basic archer. You have as a shooting ability, which as Skazz says we discovered last night. If you stand still, you fire a lot faster, which actually is what I think made a big difference in that second boss fight with the big boy. The axe, because I stood still a lot more, and I always had to fire a lot faster, would do a lot more damage.
So good.
Yeah, once you sort of figure out, there's a what you, as you would say, learning the patterns. There are certain patterns that bosses do. I've got one basically that basically I just spin round and do like full Legolas and fire like arrows in 100 different directions at once.
Do you get a speed boost from that as well? Do you not?
I get a speed boost if I think yes. Once I activate, I get a little speed boost, and also there's boosts if I kill enough enemies. I'll get like what looks like sort of like a shield thing, but as long as I kill enemies, that'll stay going.
Is that the purple one?
Yes.
That's your combo orb. You unlock that as you go through the dungeon.
Yeah. But yes, it's. I'm definitely quite squishy. It doesn't take a lot either. I'm on about 85 health now. I think 89 health. I imagine you're probably about getting towards double that. I'd imagine.
I'm around about 150, I think.
Yeah, so heading towards double. So it's going to take a lot more damage to me. I can't take a lot of hits, unfortunately, which means Skazz is frequently having to revive me.
Mate, that lay on hands ability I've got, the healing one. Oh my god, so useful because you get limited health potions per dungeon, which you can upgrade. You'll start with a single charge, a single use, and then as you upgrade your apothecary, you can upgrade. Do I want 1 charge, 2 charges, 3 charges, however many based on what tier the apothecary is. You can also change. You can pay to say how much health you want it to regenerate per pot.
Yeah.
So, if you've only got 50 health and a level 1 potion will give you 50 health, there's no point upgrading the potion to give you more health, kind of thing.
Yes.
You can also do the same for mana. So a health potion will also give you mana back. If you've only got 50 mana, no point upgrading the potion to give you more than 50 mana until you have more than 50 mana in your pool. Yeah. Oh, and you can refill those in the dungeon too. But again, if you've got a nicely kind of stacked team to balance everyone out, it turns out I have an ability as a paladin to allow myself. I can heal my teammates, and so we don't have to use potions to do it.
That's an amazing ability because it's as long as you, from what it looks, as long as you are in the area effect when you cast it, you don't have to stay there. So
it drops a circle, and then anyone that's in the circle gets a tick over time.
Yeah. which makes life a lot, which makes it a very effective boss. It's like, oh, it's Skazz need health, just run past, you just run past me, activate it. It's like, oh, there we go.
Yeah.
But yeah, the boss battles. I mean, we've not even got to the third floor boss.
No, God, no. Dude, some of them bosses or some of the enemies, even the scrubby enemies, hit really hard by floor 3 or like zone 3.
That little grub thing that like fires like big balls of poison in every direction.
Oh mate, yeah, that's a zone 2, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I can now take those out pretty easily because I can as I've upgraded my character, my regular attack will also stun.
Yes.
Like I've got like a 10% chance to stun an enemy. So if I can stun that one of those fucking things, oh my God, just fucking swing at it like a madman.
I've now got an ability where passive ability where I can disarm opponents temporarily.
That must have been what that icon was I kept seeing last night, like the stop sign.
Probably there's also like a Hunter's Mark one as well. I get like a Hunter's Mark occasionally cast, which like does more damage. But yeah, they're passive abilities. But yeah, I can disarm opponents temporarily. So that's handy. But it's like it's a bit like your stun ability in a way. That's quite handy. But yeah, it's one of those games that it's got a nice or proper power curve. So as you upgrade your character, very quickly you'll steamroll your way through the low-level dungeons. Because
there'll still be the occasional monster that will throw a spanner in the works if you're not careful.
You can still be overwhelmed when there's lots of them. They can just sheer mass of numbers. You can only shoot, but I mean, I'm at a stage now where like level dungeons, my out and probably the same with your sword will kill most things in one hit. Yeah, but when there's 1,000 of them coming at you, that's a lot of one hits you need to get in very quickly.
Yeah, sure. Sure. What was I going to say? There are multiple. So you've got multiple skill slots as well. So because we're talking about passives, when you look at your skill tree to level up your character, you've got like a set of skills that you can activate as and when you choose, which use mana, and then passives. Now we've got, I think it might be 5 available slots.
It's 4
Are you
slots.
sure it's only 4?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I've got 3, and I thought I still had a couple of slots left.
Oh, well, unless you're different characters, it might be different.
Oh, sure, maybe.
But I thought it was 4 slots. You have like your base ability, which like in my case is fire an arrow, your case is probably swing a sword, and then you have I think it's 3 other slots for special abilities.
Oh, it might be. That might be.
Mine's my spinny round thing. I haven't got any of my other special abilities yet.
The trick is with that one, even if you're not particularly good at the game, because that's one of the things that my mates kind of almost bounced off on. They're like, yeah, but we keep dying. It's like, yeah, that's the point.
That's why roguelikes work.
You're not going to win straight away, and don't think that you're bad at it just because you've died and I'm like piling through enemies. It's because I've played more.
Yes.
By virtue of just playing, you're getting stronger. You don't have to be like, of course, you can be mechanically skilled. So, someone who's got a character that's half my level, with half of the stats that I have and half of the items that I have, they could probably still keep up with me if they were mechanically gifted. But, if even if you're like, oh, I'm not very good at this, I don't think that's going to be the kind of thing for me. Look, just go in, do your dungeon runs, and just make sure you drop stuff off at the lift. At the elevator, drop your money back, and you're all back to the town. And as time goes on, you will be able to progress further. The game will throw you a bone through skill upgrades and village upgrades and stuff like that. You're not going to win straight away by virtue of just doing more runs. Like, I've done a run, I've done a couple of floors, I've died. Okay, do it again. Now you've got enough money to get some skill upgrades or whatever. You don't have to, go all the way every time. It's the way a roguelike works.
We were very lucky. The first time we played it, we did get to like floor 3, like the first area 3, like the first time we played it. We were very lucky that day. Very lucky to get there because, but we are, as we've all like gathered money, or upgrade our town upgraded gear, we are consistently getting quicker to each level, and also getting there all the time. There were like times the first time where we like died on like the first dungeon level, and then because now it's like, to die in the first dungeon, you'd have to basically just stand there and do nothing and let them cheer you up, or be very unlucky with like a trap or something. But as you but it's like that's the roguelike way. It's that consistently you get slightly further every single time. And so
Yeah.
you're gradually chipping away at it. And the fact that you can sort of skip areas means it's not quite like, oh, I've got to go through the whole dungeon levels again, because you can skip in areas. But it's not you're straight to the next area. There's a challenge tied to it. Particularly getting to floor 3 is fucking hard because the cube fights back.
Yeah. Oh god, yeah, that was a surprise, wasn't it?
Yeah.
My god.
Yeah.
Oh
And,
wow.
and some of the monsters you encounter, like the liches and stuff, and which is
Oh yeah, that's the start of the third zone, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. We've only beat that second boss twice, which is quite embarrassing to say.
Hmm.
But the first time we did it,
Was
we got the luck of the draw. Luck was on our side. We picked up a couple of buffs that basically made it so that every time I got hit, like my health was going back up really quickly.
Yes.
And I was doing massive damage. So every time the boss was hitting me, I'm like, dude, I'm just soaking this. I was just basically standing there swinging at the guy. There will be times when you'll just do a run and you will get very, very, very lucky.
Yeah.
The difficulty curve hasn't changed any per se, but
No.
the items that you've got have kind of boosted you above that kind of difficulty threshold. If that makes any sense. You know, it's not that the enemies have gotten any easier. Like the stats haven't dropped or anything. You've just found an item that has just pushed you over that difficulty curve, that little bit that you were struggling with. But again, next time you do that run, you might not get that item. You might not get that buff. You might not find that that kind of like that monolith or whatever that give you the boost.
I think it'd be a cool mechanic if you complete a boss, for example, you then have the option of like keeping an item. Like every time you complete a boss, it's just an item, not like all your items. You had to pick one. You can keep this now and have it forever. I think that'd be quite a cool little mechanic to have.
I could see that.
Yeah, but it could only be like the first time you defeat that boss. So it's not like every single time. You can't like grind it.
Yeah,
so it's like oh okay, well you've defended this boss before. You don't get to pick an item this time.
I'm interested to see what they've changed for Hammerwatch 2.
Yes, that'd be interesting to see. I would like to try and get to the top of the tower.
Oh, you damn right. Look, we are not stopping. No time. We're not stopping. We're going, man.
Yeah.
Although, just as a note, you know, we used Steam achievements for progression.
Yeah.
Only 60% of players have made it past. Have got past that second boss.
Oh wow.
So I wouldn't feel too bad about getting steamrolled by it.
Have a look at what I always like to look at is look at like, is there achievement you get like for like really early on, like tutorial achievement stuff? Because that gives you an idea of how people have actually played the game. Because tutorial achievements, they don't tend to count I think achievements should really only tend to count people who've actually like launched the game.
Yeah, no, I agree. Because sometimes these are really kind of.
Because sometimes people pick them up like bundles on stuff which they may not have ever played it. So you can have lots of how many 60 people have actually played the game right at the start.
Let's have a look. Let's see.
Or at least like compare boss 1 to boss 2.
Boss 1 is 74.6%.
Okay, that's pretty reasonable.
And boss 2 is 61.1.
That's a 75% of people have got past, but that's a pretty reasonable play. That means a fair amount of people have played that far.
Yep.
So
I'm interested to see. Let's have a look. Boss 3 would be. Oh, is that right? I don't want to give any spoilers, but boss 3 might only be the 43.6% one, or it might be the 34.7% one. So there's a hell of a curve at this point now. After the warden, and it does say here, unlock wizard. Where's this other one? Was there another unlock for character? Unlock gladiator and stuff like that. So there do seem to be some class.
The boss
here.
For the second floor is called the warden.
Yep.
The boss for level 3 is called the 3 counselors.
Yeah, there you go. 3 counselors, 43.6.
Then it's the watcher.
Watcher is 34.7.
Vampire Lord.
Vampire Lord is 30.6.
Thunder Snow.
Oh, hang on, wait, where is it? Wait, Vampire Lord is 30.6. Thunder Snow, it's 31.4.
Hang on a second.
Yeah, I was going to say, the way you've listed, that's the opposite way to the achievement. Interesting.
Yeah, but okay, so that shows you where most people bounce off. What you obviously, I think you notice is the percentages they drop off, but they go down more gradually because people get determined.
Oh yeah, sure.
As long as this
Chain of
as long as this doesn't become another Valheim, where
Don't
it's
you
like,
fucking dare. Don't you dare.
we will fucking get to that fucking boss of fish fight again. Great, I'm uninstalling it now.
Yeah, dude, the rage on that game. My God.
None of us were having a good time by the time we got to the end of the game, I don't think.
Admittedly, that was there were ways that would have been a lot easier. We just weren't doing them.
No.
Let's
not bring up Valheim again. I think let's forget that bit.
From what I understand, actually, they've done a lot to Valheim. It's got a lot more polish to it now. Valheim's not a bad game. Just playing it solo is or in the early days at least, was such a fucking bollock.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to get that server back, to be fair, so I can update it and see what they've changed. But
Cool.
some of the kingdoms I've seen people building that, or some of the villages or towns or whatever bases people are building that, look fucking phenomenal.
Cool.
Anyway, yeah, let's avoid that one.
Here is a Hammerwatch. Fantastic game. Watch out for it. It'll be on YouTube at some point soon.
Oh, actually, should note the PC version we're playing is the stock version. If you buy it on console, you get like the complete version
with all the DLCs.
Yeah, so
that's good to know.
But regardless, it's worth $15
Yeah.
for just the base version. I think so.
Right, so I think that's going to call in for the evening. So I want to say thank you both for joining us this evening. You can join us for our next games night, streaming on twitch.tv /RunNerds. I had to think about that because I was losing track of what I was going to say. Something completely inaccurate there. That'll be on the 9th of April at 20:30 GMT +1 because the clocks go forward this week. Skazz is going to be so thrilled by it. You can join us on our next podcast, which will be the 10th of April at 18:30 GMT +1 or UTC +1 if you wish to use that version. Again, because the clocks go forward this week. Yay! Hey. It'll be a nice light evening, and I can enjoy my beer garden. So,
mate, it would be pitch black, and you'd still be stood out there going, "Yeah, I got a beer garden."
Yeah, I'm just waiting to buy myself an infrared heater to put out there, so I can have some heat in the evening to sit around and go, "Yeah, beer garden, beer garden,
mate."
So, look forward to joining us then. You can check and podcast is on twitch.tv /RunNerds or youtube.com /RunNerds. So, from me, the Suffolk Ram.
Skazz.
Thank you very much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you in a fortnight. See you later, everybody.
Yay! Take it easy, guys.